Okay, so good morning, everyone. And this will be the last lesson for the semester. And I really hope that all of you will be able to learn something from this. And hopefully, by the time that you will have the money that is required in investing in stocks, then you will be able to apply what you will be learning in today's session. So, ayun, diyon na lang na ako itong diyon na lang na ako itong book value per share as well as the discussion of the EPS because the earnings per share because you will appreciate this topic more if you have the background knowledge on that. So with that, let's start understanding the stock market. So if you have questions, feel free to ask or comment sa video. So the learning objectives for this topic will be the following. Number one is to understand the concept of corporations and shares. Although I know that na-discuss na natin siya, but we'll be having an overview lang or a review. Differentiate book value and market value. Understand why people invest in corporations or basically in the stock market. Familiarize the stock market as well as how to invest in the stock market. Corporation stocks. So stocks or shares refers to a type of ownership in legal business entity. So kabalo na ta that the equity section of every corporation is being divided into a number of into different numbers which known as shares. Corporations typically issue stock to raise money from investors. Alam na rin natin yan that one of the advantage in raising out in establishing our corporation is that we are able to issue stock in exchange for money. So dali lang ang capitalization, dali lang ang financing. Okay, to raise money from investors to fund capital expenditures or future growth. Typically, corporate stock is broken up into common or preferred. Alam na rin natin yan, what's the difference between the two. Both can be beneficial depending on what situation for the business. So illustration, let's jump into the illustration immediately. And itutuloy-tuloy natin itong illustration natin na ito until matapos tayo so that mas ma-appreciate ninyo ang topic for this morning. Assuming that we have ABC Corporation, a newly created corporation based in Davao City, was approved, created by law, and is authorized and has authorized share amounting to 100,000 shares at 5 peso par value. So this is the authorized share, 100,000 tapos 5 pesos ng par value. So we have learned before that the authorized share capital or the authorized numbers of share, dili man na kailangan niya i-issue tanan sa kabagsakan lang. So pwede na siya ipingi-pingi. So in this case, the 5 founders na ay 5 ka-founders sa corporation, we have Juan, Pedro, Inday, Jose, and Mara. Okay, all of them, 5 sila, will be investing or will be purchasing 10,000 shares each at 5 pesos since the par value is 5 pesos. So napay nabilin nga 50,000. Yan. So I guess it's basic, Basic na basic. So let's now go to defining an initial public offering or an IPO. An IPO refers to the process of offering shares of a private corporation, in this case, the ABC Corporation, to the public in a new stock issuance. An IPO allows a company to raise capital from public investors. So usually, corporation, upon its creation, nanay na-issue and nanay na-subscribe ng mga share capital or number of shares to the founders or the incorporators. And when they take that corporation into public, kung nakadungog na mong anong term nga, taking a corporation into public, ang pasabutan na is that the corporation has been allowed to sell or issue stocks to the public. So, okay, so to the public meaning sa mga ordinary nga people. So pwede na. So when a corporation announces an IPO, ikaw na individual na gusto mo invest in that particular corporation will be able to. Pwede na. Okay, so initially, 5 of the authorized 100,000 shares, 50 pa lang ang na-issue. Okay, 10,000 each for the founders. So kung mag-IPO na ta, sabi dito, refers to the process of offering shares of private corporation to the public in a new stock issuance. So napamantay na bilid niya 50,000, di ba? So katong 50,000 nga nabilid, pwede pa to siya i-issue during an IPO. Okay, so example. Ano lang, review lang. As of now, na tayo 250,000 cash. Issued shares na to 50,000 over 100. Of the authorized, 50 lang ang na-issue pa. The book value per share is 250,000, which is our net worth divided by 50,000 shares. That's 5 pesos. So market value, wala pa, unknown pa na siya because wala pa man nato gibaligya sa market, wala pa man nato. Ang atong stocks is not available, readily available pa sa market. Okay? So there's a difference between the book value and the market value. The book value is based on our assets minus liabilities divided by the outstanding common shares. In this case, we have assets of 250,000, wala pa tayo liability. So divided by the common shares na 50,000, that's 5. So it's basically based on, the book value is based on our book, our records. Okay? Sa atong accounting records. So net worth lang or net assets lang divided by common shares. As for the market value, depende na siya sa market. The market will then dictate. However, natin yung natawag na initial public offering. So sa initial public offering, the company will be the one to set how much will the public be, pila ang ibayad sa public para makasecure og stocks ni ABC Corporation. So in this case, suppose that 20,000, di ba, na pamantay unissued na 50. So of the unissued na 50, dahil 20 na i-issue daw for the public. 20,000 additional shares will be issued to the public through an IPO at 15 pesos per share. Okay? So the 15 pesos, ang mag-dictate is ang company itself. But later on, since the company is now a public entity, pwede na siya, ang ilahang stocks is already available para mag-buy and sell. So eventually, the market will dictate pila ang presyo dyan. So initial public offering, 15 pesos. Okay? So take note, the founders have 10,000 shares each. That was valued for a total of 250. 50. This time, we will be welcoming new investors into the corporation. So assuming na ma-issue ka ng 20,000 shares at 15,000, so that's an increase of 300,000 pesos. Okay, that's an increase of 300,000 pesos coming in from the new investors. So with that, the total assets of ABC Corporation will now be 550 from an initial of 250. 550 na siya. So summary, total assets of the corporation, 550,000 cash. Issued shares, 70,000 over 100. So dapat ay 30 unissued. Now, take note, the book value per share. Diba, the assets now, since wala tayo liability, the net assets now is 550. Divided by the issued shares na 70,000 shares. That increases the book value per share from 5 pesos to 7.8571. Okay, if you've noticed, wala pa tayo nag-operate. Wala pa tayo operation gibuhat, wala pa tayo sales, wala pa tayo expenses, wala pa tayo nagsugod of operation. But, take note, if you are part of the founder, okay, if appeal ka sa founder na nag-invest of 5 pesos per share, okay, balik ko na ako, no? If appeal ka sa mga founders na nagpalit og shares for 5 pesos each, after the initial public offering, ginansyado na ka og 2.85. Ginansyado na dayon kag 2.85 because from 5 pesos ang imuhang book value per share, nahimo na siya 7.85. So this is one vehicle, no, why the rich becomes even richer because of the mechanics of corporation. Again take note. From 5 pesos, nahimo na siyang 7.85. Dinansyado na kag 2.85. And again, take note, wala pa ta nagsugod ng pamaligya. Wala pa sales, wala pa expenses. Nag-public offering pa lang ta. Now, take note. So the book value now is 7.85, but the market value is 15 pesos. So nasagi ka ng 15 pesos from the initial public offering. The IPO increased the total assets by 300,000, and it also increased the book value, and it established an initial market price of 15. So this is just an initial market price of 15 pesos. It might increase, it might decrease depending on the market and the performance of the corporation. But initially, these are the prices that we are looking at. Okay? So if, for example, nahurot ng issue ang 20,000 pesos, tapos ikaw nga founder ka na kaimo kang pagbalingon niya shares, and napay gusto mo palit at 15,000 pesos, pwede na po din mo ibaligya. Okay, so ang imong 5, nabaligyan nimo for 15, wala pa nagsugod ang operation, dinansyado na ka. Okay. Assuming na nag-operate na ta, and on 2021, the first year of operation, ABC Corporation's profit is 500,000. So after operating for 1 year, we were able to hit a profit of 500,000 pesos. So with that additional profit, the total assets of the corporation is now 1,050,000. Okay, so naman tayo 550. Dumaga ng 500,000, sinay mo siya 1,050,000. Issued shares still at 70, so the book value per share now is 15 pesos. 1,050,000 divided by 70 shares, that's 15 pesos. And what about for the market value? 15 man to dati. Will it increase or decrease? Considering that the corporation was able to generate a profit of 500,000. So it's possible that the market value might increase, and let us assume it becomes 30. So the book value has now become 15 and the market value has become 30. So sir, nga namang na 30. Why are there people who will name mo na siyang 30 guys, because there are people who are willing to buy the stocks or the shares at 30 pesos even if the book value is only 15. So why is that? Kung pangutan mo, ano man sir, nga 15 naman ang book value, nga namang mapalit sila 30 because of potential gain. So mo siyang risky, no? Mo siyang risky sa stock market because you have to analyze the environment, the business climate, the government, the management. Dagan kang i-factor in yung mga bagay-bagay. And you have to decide whether kaninga corporation pasaka ba ni siya or pababa. And if you believe nga pasaka siya, na ang imuhang invest sa pag mupalit ka, even if palito nimo siya 30 pesos karon, you strongly believe based on your research and understanding that the 30 pesos will even reach 150, 300, 500, 1,000. Okay, so kung nakakaingan ang mindset, then people will be willing to buy it above the book value. Considering ang ilahang capital is only 550 and the first year of operation is 500, that's almost 90%, no? More or less 90% sa capital. So that's very positive. It marabag reflection siya unsa ka maayo ang pagdala sa kampanya. So ikaw, and because probably gamay lang gusto magbaligya sa ilang shares, kay 70,000 ra baya ang issued shares. So gamay lang nagabaligya and naitaas nga demand due to the good performance of this ABC Corporation, then people will be willing to buy it at 30, even 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So again, the market will decide. So the following are typical scenario increasing the stock price. Of course, if it generates profit. If for the past 5 years it has been generating profit, then people will have the confidence to buy those shares even at way higher price than book value. Of course, favorable tax government policies, mabitaw ng we will know. Paglingkod ni BBM by June 30, no, 12/01. We will know how people will react. Is it Will they view it as something positive or negative? If it's positive, then corporations that might be linked to the Marcoses might increase in value. Favorable acquisitions and mergers. There are certain companies that tend to acquire. Ang strategy mo sa ubandag kung ang kumpanya is ginapalit nila ng mga gagmay na competitors. So if na yung mga acquisitions or na yung mergers, when we talk of mergers, ka nang mag-combine, doon ka corporation, mag-merge sila, isa na lang ang magawas. So if those certain strategies are favorable, then we might expect increase in value. And of course, favorable change in management. Okay, if you are Jose, one of the founders who purchased 10,000 shares at 5 pesos, their stock have already increased by 600%. Na times 6 na siya. Since the market price is already at 30 pesos. So, if ikaw si Jose, kung ibaligya na nimo karon at 30 pesos, ang imuhang 10,000 shares, then ginansyado na ka og 25 pesos per share. So, 25 pesos multiplied by 10,000 pesos, that's already 250,000 in profit. Profit na. Capital nimo kay ano ra gud? 50,000 na imong capital, tapos nabaligya nimo siya at 300,000. So, bigyan siya na 250. However, if you are interested in investing in ABC Corporation, you will then have to negotiate. If ikaw, outside investor ka, gusto ka mo palit kay ABC Corporation, then you have to negotiate with the existing shareholder na palitan mo siya for at least 30 pesos. Okay, kay katong 30, take note ha, di ba 70,000 ang nato ang issued nga shares, na ay 30,000 nga unissued. So usually, dili na siya gina-issue basta-basta sa corporation. Depende na lang na sila kung nasa additional financing na kailangan or wala. But, if ikaw gusto ka mo invest sa ABC Corporation tapos issued na tanan, one of the ways for you to invest in is katong nga existing na shareholder, palito nimo ang ilahang shares. Ofera nimo. Okay? Later, we will discuss that one later. Now, assuming that on year 2022, the second year of operation, instead nga ginansya net loss of 300,000. On the first year of operation, profit 500. Second year of operation, net loss 300,000. So this will now be the impact of the net loss. Total assets from 1,050,000 may lang siyang 750. Issued shares the same. Book value from 15 pesos na lang siyang 10.71. Market value from the 30, will it increase or decrease? So there's a good chance that it will decrease. So most probably the market value will decrease, and let us assume it will now be trading at 9 pesos. Okay? So way lower than book value. So pwedeng ganun. Pwedeng mangyari yan because of the net loss, because of certain changes in the market, the government management. So assuming James purchased, si James daw in 2021 purchased 1,000 shares. Ang market value ato was 30 pesos man. He would have lost 21 pesos per share and a total of, ipalit niya at 30, by 2022, ang value na lang is 9, lugi siya 21 pesos per share. And since 1,000 man kabuki ang share, that's 21,000 unrealized loss. Sir, what do you mean by unrealized loss? It is just a loss on paper. Lugi lang na siya on paper. So, mo nang ginatawag siya na unrealized loss. Ano mga lugi on paper, sir? Because dili pa man na ma-realize, dili pa na ma-actualize ang imong lugi kung dili nimo ibaligya. So, ayaw lang sa jud ibaligya, manang ginaingon nila nga hold. Hold lang, hold. Guniti lang sa imong shares. Guniti lang sa imong stocks. Ayaw sa ibaligya. Kasi mo taas pa day. Kasi tayo mo balik sa 30. Okay? That is why it's just an unrealized loss. It's just a paper loss. Mahimo lang yun na siyang lugi if ibaligya na nimo. So, ipalit nimong 30, ibaligya nimong 9, lugi na juga 21 per share. But if you continue to hold, hindi mo ibaligya, then the market will be able to recover, the company will be able to recover. So, mabalik siya 30, then wala na kayo, ginansyado na kung pabalik. Okay? So, if you're interested in investing in ABC Corporation now, you will then have to negotiate with the existing shareholder and buy their shares for at least 4 at 9 pesos or even less. So, anong 9? Because of the losses. Now, let's now go to stockbrokers. A stockbroker is a regulated representative of the financial market who enables the buying and selling of securities on behalf of financial institutions. So the company does not directly sell or issue their stocks to the investors or to the public. And they have stockbrokers. Nasa lang mga broker, barag yuta ba no? Na yung mga real estate broker. So the companies, kung mag-issue silang share, will be mag-contact na sila ng mga stockbrokers. Then ang mga stockbrokers na karon with their facility will be the one to transact directly from the investors. Sila ang mudawat sa kwarta, mag-charge sila fee, forward nilang kwarta dito sa company. Stockbroker is also called a registered representative or a broker. The trading or purchase or sale of stocks on the national stock exchanges are usually executed through stockbrokers. Unless na lang kung part ka sa founders or naa kay mga inside trading nga, muna ginatawag nga mga inside trading, no? Na di na maagi ka ng mga brokers. So stock shares owned by investors are usually with these brokers that can be accessed by trading platforms, making it easy to sell and buy them. Okay. So if you are a new investor who wishes to invest in ABC Corporation, you will then have to make a bid. Okay. So in the trading platforms of the stock brokers, dito no, pwede nimo mabaligya. Na dito lang imuhang shares. Ikaw ang tag-iyana pero mura siya nakabutang lang sa atin. Naka-deposit lang sa ba. Ikaw ang tag-iyanin ng mga shares pero naka-deposit lang siya sa stockbroker para dali lang ang pagbaligya o pagpalit. So if you are new investors, naka-account sa stockbroker who wishes to invest in ABC Corporation, you will then have to make a bid. Sa manang bid, the amount you offer to buy a share. For example, ABC Corporation, the market price in 2022 was 9 pesos. So pwede ka mag-bid og 9 pesos para makapalit na yun ka, or pwede ka 8.90, 8.80 depending on your analysis. So that's the bid, that's the amount that na gina-offer nimo para palito ng isa ka share. This bid will then be matched to sellers who make ask price. Tapos tayo ginatawag na ask. May bid, may ask. Kung saan man ang ask. So this is the amount the seller sells his or her share. Ikaw nga gusto mo palit, you will make a bid. Ikaw nga gusto mo baligya, you will make an ask. You will make an ask price. When there is a match between the bid and the ask price, then the buy-sell order will then be filled. For example, ako, mag-bid ko 9 pesos, 10,000 shares. So, maghulat ko until na ako ay mag-ask price of 9 pesos, 10,000 shares po, until ma-fill in ang order. The seller will get their cash while the buyer will get their shares. And of course, the buyer is the one that will be paying the fees. No? For every trade niyang buhaton, for every sell, for every buy, na ay madawat ang stockbroker. So opening a stock market account, so actually there are different stockbrokers, no? But I will just be introducing you to the siguro makaingon nga pinakakailan, well known. We have the Corp Financial, mo yung gina-market and gina-introduce ni Bo Sanchez, no, during his webinars on stock market. And we also have First Metro. Personally, First Metro po ang ginagamit na stockbroker. Okay, so that's why kung ma-introduce ng po niya method sa inyo in opening is the First Metro. So, opening a First Metro account, click this link. Then, maawat yan ng website. Then, you just have to click open account. And there is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 process. Answer all the questions and upload the necessary documents online lang tanan, and you will receive an email confirming that you have an account. And once mag-login na kasi mong account, there are different ways to fund them. So, probably another video for that. It's easy, no? Bisan, ako land bank, I could just transfer my land bank funds to my First Metro account funds. So, yan na lang siya kadali. So, basically, that's it, no? Short overview lang of the stock market and how it works. And hopefully, if you have questions, hopefully nasabtanin ninyo. And if ever na may mga pangutan, feel free to ask. For the assessment naman, go to this site and check the companies listed in the Philippine stock market. Philippine Stock Exchange. Ayan. Makita mo dito sa mga companies ang available sa Philippine Stock Exchange wherein pwede mo makapalit through a broker. Then choose 3 companies from the list you wish to invest in and provide a short explanation as to why. Just select 3 companies lang, then do some quick research and tell me nganong katong companies yung gusto investan. And identify 2 world events that have affected these companies in the past years. So, ang daming nangyari. There are increases in prices. There are things that are happening right now affecting the industry and the world basically. And I want you to identify 2 world events that have affected these companies and provide a short description as to the impact of those events to these companies. So that would be all, guys. Thank you so much and have a nice weekend.